Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. If you're watching or listening to this episode, you might be over 40, you got very little money saved, or you might even have nothing. And I know that the part you're wondering is, am I too late? Is it too late in the game for me to become wealthy? And I have some really good news for you, because the answer is absolutely not. It's not too late, but it is time for you to get real serious, because time is not on your side. You've got 20 years or less between now and age 65. And that $1 million portfolio, while it can get built, is certainly not going to build itself. So in this episode, I'm breaking down exactly how to build your $1 million portfolio, even if you're starting from $0. Exactly what to invest in so you don't have to do any guesswork, where to find the money to get started, and how to go from feeling like you're behind to being financially bulletproof by the time you retire.
We getting money, money, money. Wouldn't your mirror sharing gems with her getting money, money, money. Getting a line, growing money and getting money, money, money. It's your life, trying to get more, getting money.
This is how you're going to get to your 7-figure portfolio without stress, without guesswork, and without gambling. Here's your 3-step plan. Step 1, you're going to invest in core ETFs. This is going to be 70% of the money that you have earmarked for savings. This right here is going to be your foundation, or essentially your financial brick house. You're going to build this with broad market ETFs, which are funds that hold hundreds of companies all at one time. For you, that means instant diversification, automatic compounding of your money, and zero guesswork. So here are my favorite ones that I highly suggest that you add to your portfolio. VOO and SPY. These are ETFs that track the S&P 500. And in case you don't know, the S&P 500 is the 500 largest companies in the US. These two have each gotten about a 10.5% annual return over the last 50 years. So when you invest in either one of these, you're going to immediately have 500 of the best performing stocks in your portfolio right away. The next one is VTI. Now this is the total US stock market ETF, and it has gotten about a 10% average return. When you invest in VTI, you are immediately invested in all of the stocks on the entire stock market all at one time. Next up is SCHD. And I want you to invest in this one because this one is going to pay you dividends. Dividends are basically free money that companies give you just for being a stockholder. And you can either use that money to reinvest and buy more stocks without adding any more of your own money, or you can receive those dividends as checks in the mail. Personally, my suggestion for you, especially because you're starting at 40 plus, I suggest don't take the checks. Just go ahead and reinvest those dividend checks right back into your portfolio so that your money continues to grow even more and even faster. Now, this next one is a behemoth of an ETF. It's called QQQ, and it is a growth-focused, tech-heavy ETF. Most companies in this one are tech, so you're going to have really explosive growth compared to other ETFs. This one's going to get you about a 15 to 17% average annual return. Now, if you blend all of these together as I'm suggesting, this cornerstone of your portfolio has averaged about an annual 12% historical return. You will never get a 12% return at a bank. I'm not saying you shouldn't put your money in the bank, because you should have some liquid cash that you can access very, very quickly if you need to. And that should be your emergency fund. But everything outside of your emergency fund and money that you're using to pay your bills needs to go into the stock market. At best, at a bank, you're probably going to get maybe 4%, maybe 5%, but 12? Never. When you invest in the mix of ETFs that I just suggested, this is going to be your steady engine. It's going to be reliable and it's going to be powerful. I've partnered with Moomoo, one of my favorite stock investing platforms, and they're going to let me give you 5 free stocks just for clicking the link in the description here, signing up with them, and depositing $100. Now, I want to be clear that $100 is your $100. You're not paying Moomoo. Moomoo is actually commission free, which is what I absolutely love about them. So when you put this $100 into your account, you're literally just paying yourself. And as a reward for you taking care of you, Moomoo is going to hook you up with 5 additional stocks for free on top of that. So while we're talking about building wealth, this is a super easy way for you to start investing without having to put in a whole ton of money. And those free stocks, that's extra money that you can invest too. This is literally a no-brainer. So go ahead, click the link in the description, put your $100 in so you get those 5 free stocks, and let's start making some passive income. All right, so now that we're done with step 1, let's move on to step 2. You got your ETFs in place. Now we're going to buy individual stocks that are doing even better than these ETFs. So the ETFs I suggested are really for diversification. So all your money isn't tied up in just 1 or 2 companies that might fall. And 2, because ETFs tend to be safer than individual stocks simply because they are so diversified. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't get in on individual stocks that are doing extremely well. So 20% of your money that you have earmarked for savings, That's going to go into individual growth stocks. So again, once your core is solid with those ETFs, you can add in some high growth individual stocks to boost those returns up. Always consider companies that you know and understand. For example, here are some ones that I really suggest that you get added to your portfolio right away. Nvidia, or ticker symbol NVDA, has gotten about a 70% average annual return. That's crazy money. 70%? If you have a credit card and you have a 24% interest rate or a 30% interest rate, just think about how much you're paying in interest, right? Can you imagine receiving 70% returns? Oh my gosh, you would be crazy not to be invested in Nvidia. So this is one I really want you to get. Next up is Apple. Apple, we all know Apple. It's tried and true. It's been around since the 80s. It ain't going nowhere. They're always innovating. They always got something new coming. They are a rock solid tech company. And Apple has gotten about 28% annual returns. Next up is Microsoft. Same thing as Apple. Always been around. For many of us, we can't even remember life before Microsoft. And it is also getting about an average annual return of 28%. Next one I want you to add is Amazon. This goes without saying. Amazon is Amazon. If you know, you know. Everything from a pencil to a whole entire house can be purchased on Amazon. And we know, again, Amazon, they ain't going nowhere. It gets about a 22% average annual return. And the next one I want you to add is Palantir, and that's ticker symbol PLTR. It's a newer company on the stock market, but it's getting about 17%. Evenly split up, these individual stocks that I just mentioned to you has gotten about an average 33% return. And that extra growth, that extra massive amount of percentage that you're getting as a return, it reduces the amount that you have to contribute every single month. Okay, so let's talk about step 3. Step 3 is DCA, or dollar cost averaging. Now, this part is non-negotiable. This is literally the secret sauce. Dollar cost averaging means that you invest a fixed amount on a fixed schedule at a fixed interval, no matter what the market is doing. If it's going up, you're still investing the same amount at the same time at the same frequency. If it's going the opposite direction, same thing. So for example, you might choose to invest $300 every single month. So the same amount at the same frequency. And here's why this works. We all know that the stock market goes up and it goes down. But when it goes down, your money buys more shares than when it's up because those stocks are now on sale essentially. When the prices of the stocks rise, your money buys fewer shares, but they're now more valuable. Over time, this smooths out market ups and downs, and it gives you a lower average per share price. Also, it removes emotion, it eliminates guesswork, and it builds discipline on autopilot without you having to get in the way. And over a period of time, like 20 years, that consistency is what turns your discipline into real dollars. So let me tell you why this strategy is going to work and why it's still realistic for you to go from $0 to $1 million in just 20 years. We're not talking about YOLOing all your money into some meme stock. We're talking about building a blended portfolio of proven investments. 70% goes into those broad market ETFs that I mentioned that are going to average you about 12% annual returns. 20% is going to go into those high growth stocks, and they're averaging about 33%. Now, the last 10% I want you to keep into a high yield savings account. That's going to get you about a 4% annual return. And that's just so that you have balance, because you do need to make sure that some of your money is completely fail safe. Unlike the stock market, high yield savings accounts don't go up or down. You earn the guaranteed rate for the entire year. Now, when you weigh all these parts together, 70% of your money getting 12% returns, 20% of your money getting about 33% returns, and 10% of your money getting about 4% returns, that whole portfolio averages out to be about 15% per year. And here's what that means in real numbers. At a 15% average annual return, in order to hit $1 million in 20 years, you're gonna have to invest $730 a month. That's about $183 a week, which many of us are spending on meals and clothes. But if you can do $730 a month for 20 years, again, using dollar cost averaging and putting all this on autopilot so you don't have to think to do it or remember to do it, you will hit $1 million in 20 years with that 15% return we talked about. And here's the part that's gonna blow your mind even more. And I really want you to get this part. During that entire 20-year period, you will have only contributed $175,000. That $730 per month is only going to come out to $175,000 over the course of that 20 years. But $824,000 of that $1 million that you're going to get is all interest that was earned for you through the stock market. Now, I know a lot of us have been taught to put our money into a bank and just leave it there, right? But here's the thing. If you save that same $730 per month and you put it into a regular traditional bank account, or you had it in cash, you still only have about $175,000 after 20 years. But by investing it the way that I've suggested here, you're going to turn your $175,000 that you save over time into $1 million. Baby, you ain't gonna get that from putting your money in a bank or putting it underneath your mattress. So think of this like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first it's small, right? It's only $730 during the first month, another $730 the next month. But as it keeps rolling, it picks up more snow. And then that new snow picks up even more snow as it rolls down the hill. That's what compounding is going to do to your money. This is not about working harder. It's about getting your money to work harder for you, then you can work for it. In this example, you can only work to save $730 a month. But when your money's working harder for you, it's earning 15% on your money to take you from investing $175,000 to receiving $1 million at the end. Remember, $824,000 is all interest. And the beautiful thing about all of this is that you can still do it even if you're over 40. Okay, so now you're like, this is great, Gwen. I'm on board, but where the hell am I supposed to get the $730 a month from? Let's talk about it. Right now, your brain may be screaming, I don't have that kind of money. But wealth building is about being resourceful, not necessarily starting out rich. So here's where you can start. First, cut your overspending. Cancel all your unused subscriptions. I know you got some, whether it's the gym, whether it's streaming services, whether it's apps on your phone. This alone is going to save you anywhere from $50 to $200 a month. Next up, cook at home just 3 times a week. That will save you about $300 a month. Next up, do an audit of your money. Pull your bank statements and highlight anything that you see that you actually don't really use that much. Things that you're paying for, but you don't really need it or love it. Eliminate that expense altogether. Next up is to eliminate broke rich habits. This one might sting a little bit, but I say this with love because it's necessary and I want you to win. You cannot keep financing furniture, electronics, or vacations. The interest is eating away at your future. So stop doing that. I also want you to sell the things that you don't use. We all have stuff in our house that we don't use anymore or we just don't want anymore. Whether it's clothes, whether it's our kids' toys after they've grown up, whether it's just stuff in our basement or our garage. We all accumulate stuff. Don't just throw it away. Don't put it on the street for the garbage man to pick up. Go sell it on Facebook Marketplace or Poshmark. This will get you some real fast cash. Also, now this is a higher end one, but if you got an extra car that you don't really drive that much, or a fancy gadget that maybe you don't use, maybe you got 2 PlayStations in your house, so you really only need one. Rent it out or sell it. All right, the next way for you to find money is for you to downgrade quietly. Remember, wealth whispers, but poverty, it screams. If you are a luxury kind of girl or guy, you can temporarily switch from luxury brands to more budget-friendly brands. You might have to learn how to start doing your own nails, or maybe your own hair. Those $150, $200 salon visits or nail shop visits, you can do all that stuff at home yourself for $50 or less. Nobody has to know any of this. Just keep your peace and build real quietly. Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody's opinions coming to save you when it's time for you to retire and you don't have no money. All right, next up is for you to increase your income. This is a big unlock. If you start a side hustle and you just work 5 hours a week, you can have anywhere from $500 to an extra $1,000 a month. That alone is your $730. Some things that you might be able to do, you can freelance, you can tutor, you can consult, you can babysit, you can deliver. There's all sorts of ways for you to find side hustles. The gig economy, whether it's Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Uber Eats, or any of them, or something that you create on your own. By the way, if you are lost and confused and you're like, I know I could use some extra money, but I have no clue where to even start or what to even do to sell my services, you're going to want to pick up my passive income planner. It's going to help you map out exactly what your current skills are, things that aren't going to take you a whole lot of time to learn, and teach you how to monetize them quickly with a plan in place. Now, if you are an employee and you work for somebody else, I need you to ask for a raise. I'm going to assume that you deserve one, but only you know if you do. But if you ask your boss for a raise and the answer is a flat out no, you might want to consider switching to a job that pays more. Listen, you don't have to do everything that I listed here, but you do got to do something. Just think to yourself, is 65-year-old you going to be proud of 45-year-old you? Is 70-year-old you going to be proud of 50-year-old you? Is 66-year-old you going to be proud of 46-year-old you? Whatever age you are, I want you to add 20 years to that and ask yourself, based upon what you're doing right now, is that future person going to be proud of what you've done today? And if not, you've got to make some changes right now. Now, how to put all of this kind of together and get your mind in the right spot? You've got to shift your brain. You are not behind, you're just in motion. Listen, most people don't get serious about investing until they're scared, honestly. But fear does not build wealth. Action does. Right now, you are not behind per se. You're starting. But this is the moment where your entire financial future pivots. And if no one's told you lately, I am here to tell you, it is not too late. It's just time to move different. Because here's the thing about snowballs, like I mentioned earlier. The sooner you start to roll it, the bigger it gets. And the faster it gets bigger. But if you wait too long, it stays tiny and it melts and disappears. Here's the thing, you don't have to do any of this alone. That's exactly what My Rich Friends was created for. It's my private community of people who are doing exactly what you're about to do. Inside of My Rich Friends, you get weekly live mastermind calls where I break down strategies just like this. A dedicated money mindset coach who keeps you motivated. A whole entire supportive community that celebrates your wins and helps you through those tough days. Real-time accountability so you don't fall off track. Because when you're starting after 40, you can't afford to waste your time guessing. You need clarity, guidance, and people who get it. And that's what My Rich Friends gives you. Now, if this episode opened your eyes, do not just close this tab and forget about it. Like, comment, and subscribe. And hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on what's coming next. And if you're serious about turning this knowledge into real money, join me inside of My Rich Friends. This is where we build wealth together, step by step, with weekly live coaching and real accountability. In fact, the members inside of My Rich Friends right now are doing a wealth challenge where we're collectively finding $100,000 before the end of this year. Money that we're either earning in the stock market, money that we didn't even know that we had, expenses that we've eliminated, etc. And in the first 5 days, the members found $20,000. At this rate, we are going to exceed far and beyond the $100,000 goal. And I'm so excited for my members. And I would love for you to be a member too. The link is in the description and it's pinned to the top of the comments. Oh, one more thing. If you want a simple roadmap to start investing from scratch, get on the waitlist for my stock market basics course. I promise you, when it drops, it's going to be the best investment that you made all year. Bottom line is to start now, because the longer you wait, the smaller your snowball stays. And we want that thing to be real big. I'll see you next time. Peace.